Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cheryl if you're new here, and today I'm here to bring you a video that I have seen on other people's channels, and it honestly looks kind of fun, and so it was kind of fun to pick through my shelves to figure out books for this video. That was not eloquent. But if you can't already tell from the title of this video, it is the books on my shelf that I think are going to be 5-star reads. Now, like I said, I did originally see this over on some other channels. I know Sam from Thoughts on Tomes did this first. At least I saw her video first. And then Reagan from Peruse Project also did this. I will link both of those channels, or those videos rather, down below. They're both really cool. You should check them out. But yeah, it just kind of inspired me to look through my own shelf and to see what books that I think are going to be 5-star reads. Now, this was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to look at my shelf and go, this one will be good, this one will be good, that kind of thing. But no. To me, a 5-star read is like top notch. It is the best of the best. I don't really give 5 stars out that often. Like, I really have to love a book for it to be 5 stars. And so, looking just at a book by its cover, by the synopsis, maybe a few things you've heard about it, and going, without a doubt, this is going to be a 5-star read, is like really intimidating, because what if you're wrong? What if I read one of these books and it's like a 2-star? Well, then I've made a fool of myself. But these are the books that I think are going to be 5-star reads. I'm very curious to get to them at some point to read them, but I also find that assuming they're going to be 5-star reads makes them more intimidating, which is just like the opposite of what you would think would happen, because you think it being a 5-star read in your mind you would immediately want to pick it up, because who doesn't love reading a 5-star book? But I just feel like, what if it's not? I'm just like, oh no, I put such high expectations on these books that it scares me to go into them, because what if they're just not as good? Alright, now these are really in no particular order. They're literally just going to be in the order that they are stacked next to me. So without further ado, let's finally get into the books that I think are going to be some 5-star reads. So the first one I'm going to talk about is probably the most intimidating one, and it's the one I'm the most unsure about. I'm pretty confident on the rest of these, but this one I was like, this could go one of two ways. This could either be a absolutely fantastic 5-star read, love it to death, or it could be like a 1-2-star read, because I just didn't get it. And that is Dune by Frank Herbert. This is like the OG sci-fi book, and I have heard so many people talk about this book because it is so old and beloved. You get the people who absolutely love this book. It is one of their favorite books. And then you get the people who absolutely hated it. I want to be one of the people that loves this book, but I don't know. I don't read too much sci-fi. I read books that have sci-fi elements, and I've read some sci-fi like Illuminae, but this is like hardcore, straight up sci-fi, and that kind of intimidates me a little bit, honestly. And so I'm kind of afraid to go into this one, because I've heard how dry and dense it is in the beginning. A lot of people, especially it's their favorite book, say, by the third read, you're great, you're golden, you understand everything that's going on. But I don't want to have to read it 3 times, especially because it's not a short book, in order to really understand it. And it's not the length that intimidates me, it's just the content. So if you've read this book, or really any of the ones I'm going to talk about, but specifically this one, if you have read it and you enjoyed it or disliked it, whichever one, leave me a comment down below and let me know, because I need some incentive to read this book, because I want it to be a 5-star book. I really do, and I have a lot of the other books in the series that I can continue with after reading this one, and they're all a lot shorter than this one, but it intimidates me, man. It intimidates me. So book number 2 I'm going to talk about is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. I have not read the Wheel of Time series at all, and I feel like I'm a bad fantasy fan for saying that, considering this is like one of the most beloved fantasy series I feel like ever. There are so many books with this series. Just an unbelievable amount of books. And I think he has spin-off series. I think so. I believe this is the first one to start with. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm starting in one of his side series, but I believe this is the first one, because it says book 1 of Wheel of Time. I don't know really anything about this book, to be honest. This book alone tells me 12 books on the back. Is that how many are in the series? Or are there more than that now? But yes, I don't really know much about this other than it is an epic high fantasy, very long series, clearly. Okay. I was gonna say this length doesn't intimidate me because it's not a very long paperback. This thing is like 700 pages. What the hell? These are the thinnest pages oh. Damn. If you guys have been on my channel before, you'll know that mass markets don't bother me, actually. I don't really like huge mass markets, like reading a book that's like 1,000 pages long in mass market isn't that fun. I've done it, but it's not fun. But you know, I hate those super thin Bible pages. And this is why, because this was so deceptive. I thought this was going to be like a 500 at most page book. No, it's like 800 pages. But anyway, like I said, don't really know much about it. I do feel like it's going to be a 5-star read just because I love fantasy so much. And I know this is like an adventure fantasy series, but specifically an adventure fantasy novel. So we will see. If I get to it at some point, I don't know. I'm a lot less motivated knowing it's that long now. And now for something completely different. This is my next 5-star prediction, and that is Darwin's Ghost. This is the Origin of Species Updated. Gonna hit myself in the face, by Steve Jones. And so he uses modern science, new examples, and things that were after Darwin's time to help explain Darwin's theories and to, I guess, correct them in places that we now know Darwin wasn't absolutely correct about, if that makes sense. So I am like a huge science buff. I specifically love evolution and learning about evolution and all that kind of stuff. So I really think that this is going to be a book that I really enjoy. It just seems right up my alley, and unlike the other ones on the series, it's not very long, and so I do look forward to getting to this at some point. I think it might be the next book I pick up. Maybe. So the next book I'm going to talk about is a big book, but that's because it is a bind-up, and that is The Legend of Drizzt. This is the 25th anniversary edition, and this is by R.A. Salvatore. This is books Homeland, Exile, and Sojourn. I know this is one of those series that it's just unbelievably long as well, and there's a lot of series within this world. I believe this is the first one to start with. My husband and I spent like 10 minutes trying to figure that out on Google. Like, what is the first book to start with? So if you are familiar with this series, let me know if Homeland is the first one to start with. It's going to be the first one I start with. I'm specifically talking about Homeland, but honestly, this bind-up as a whole, I really feel like will be a 5-star read for me. I don't know too much about the series itself, other than it is D&D related, and so that kind of epic adventure fantasy is right up my alley. I love like casts of characters that just are thrown together and I have to go quest off and do something. It is so much fun and enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to picking this up. At some point, it is a hefty novel, but that's because, like I said, it is 3 different novels, but I am just, of all the books on this list other than Darwin's Ghost, I think this is the one I am most excited to read because I'm very hopeful. I've got a good feeling that it's going to be a 5-star read for me. We shall see though, because I'm also super picky when it comes to 5-star books, so we'll see. So the last book I'm going to talk about today is probably the one going to be the most like controversial one if I don't give it a 5-star, and it's just continuing the trend of almost every book on the series of being fantasy, and that is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is so beloved here on BookTube that, like, I feel if I give it anything less than a 5-star, I'm gonna lose my BookTube privileges because everyone seems to love this book. Now, I know there are people who dislike it. I'm not saying that it's, like, unanimous. However, this is by far one of the most popular, like, adult fantasy series or adult series in general on BookTube, at least from the people I follow. Everyone I follow who has similar taste in books to mine absolutely loves this book, so I'm expecting it to be a really, really good read. I'm expecting it to be a 5-star read because almost everyone I follow that has liked it has given it a 5-star. There are very few people who seem to be in the middle with this book. It seems to be one of those ones where you either give it 1 or 2 stars because you absolutely hate it, or you give it 5 stars because you absolutely love it. So I have high hopes for this, although I do know that it's supposed to be a trilogy, I believe, and then there's the first 2 books out, but there's like no word on if the 3rd book is ever going to come out, and I hate knowing that about a series and then going into it, because what when I read the second book, what if I love this series? And then I'm going to be stuck in the group of people who are like, I would sell my soul for the third one, but that'll probably never happen. And so, all of these, I'm so hesitant, except for, like I said, Darwin's Ghost is the only one that I feel like I can read without consequence, because worst case scenario, I'm wrong. But, like, all of these, I'm like, oh god, what am I getting myself into? What if I hate it? Or what if I love it and I have so many more books to read? Because these are all at the beginning of series, like, if I love the Legend of Drizzt books, if I love Wheel of Time, if I love Dune, I have so many more books to read in those series or in those spin-off series. Oh boy, I've intimidated myself now. This video might have been a mistake. But yeah, those are the books that I think on my shelf are going to be 5 stars. If I really dug around more, I probably could find some more. But I just was like, nope, time to go. Let's get this out. And so I just kind of grabbed the first few I saw. So what are some 5-star books that you have on your TBR that you, well, predictions that you have on your TBR? Let me know down below. Have you read any of these books? Were they 5 stars? Did you hate them? Because, oh god, I hope I don't hate them. Watch, I'm gonna make a follow-up video to this saying, oh, these are all the books that I thought were 5 stars, but I gave 2 stars instead. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Do you have any video requests? I've kind of been like, not in a video slump per se, but I haven't been sure what to film. Let me know, do you have any Christmassy video recommendations? Because I'm hella hyped for the holidays. So if you guys have any suggestions, just leave me a comment down below and I will see you in my next one. Bye!